Have you ever sensed a weight pressing on your spirit, as if unseen hands are keeping your soul in slumber? Imagine an invisible web woven around every heartbeat, every breath, designed to keep you from remembering who you truly are. What would happen if that web were to unravel, if the spark of your own divinity were to blaze forth for all to witness? Would the architects of this grand design tremble at the light you carry within? The truth is that certain powerful forces have built their dominion upon the forgotten nature of the human soul. They thrive in the darkness of collective amnesia, where souls cycle through lives like livestock on an eternal carousel, their memories wiped clean each time the ride begins anew. What I'm about to share will challenge everything you've been taught about identity, freedom, and the hidden currents that shape our world. In the next moments, you will glimpse the veiled motives of those who profit from your unawakened state, and you will discover the first steps to reclaim the sacred sovereignty of your inner light. For millennia, stories have whispered of secret societies and shadow rulers. But beneath those legends lies a deeper reality. Earth itself may be a vast farm, a soul reservoir where every incarnation is harvested for energy and obedience. The elites who oversee this system depend on our fragmented awareness, our confusion about life and death, and our ceaseless striving for external validation. They have woven myths of scarcity, danger, and finality to divert us from the greatest truth of all, that our consciousness is boundless and eternal, and that remembrance of this fact is our birthright. We will begin by exploring the origins of this control matrix, tracing how the cycle of rebirth became a mechanism of dominion rather than liberation. Then we will unravel the psychological and energetic tools used to keep souls tethered to fear and forgetfulness. Finally, you will learn practical techniques to ignite your own awakening, pierce the veil of illusion, and stand unbowed before the assembled powers that would see you remain asleep. At the heart of the matter lies a paradox. The very act of awakening threatens the foundations of the soul farm. Like a stone thrown into still water, a single enlightened soul creates ripples of remembrance that can spread from mind to mind. As these ripples gather, the cage that holds us begins to fracture. The elites know this, and their most guarded mission is to prevent the collective remembrance of our divine nature. To appreciate the depth of their fear, we must first understand the architectural framework of the reincarnation cycle. Picture a vast cosmic factory where souls arrive at birth, pass through a predetermined series of trials and traumas, and then exit at death in a condition of amnesia. In this state, the soul's memories of prior lives, of its innate omnipotence and unity with the divine, are systematically erased. This wiping process is not random. It is administered by a hidden intelligence that records, sorts, and redistributes souls according to cosmic quotas and resource demands. These administrators are often depicted in esoteric traditions as gatekeepers, psychopomps, or cosmic bureaucrats. They ensure that the cycle remains closed, that no soul escapes its mandated rotations. Their protocols include the design of our genetic blueprint, the subtle imprinting of collective belief systems, and the orchestration of pivotal historical events that embed fear, separation, and scarcity deep into the human psyche. Consider the metaphor of a vast library in which every book represents a soul's journey. At birth, you are handed an empty volume. Your life fills its pages with new experiences, but the ledger of prior chapters remains locked away in a subterranean vault. At death, the page you've just written vanishes, and you are given another blank book, oblivious to the epic saga you've already composed. If, however, one soul were to recover its locked chapters, if one reader were to prove that the vault can be opened, then every other book in the library would begin to stir, demanding release. This is why the elite architects of the reincarnation conveyor belt deploy a multifaceted strategy to keep our pages secure. First, they seed us with the illusion that memory is fragile, that the past is unreachable. They codify this illusion through spiritual dogma that promises enlightenment only after death, rather than as an immediate possibility. Second, they cultivate distractions, technological, cultural, political, that occupy our attention and dull our intuitive senses. Third, they foster division among seekers, pitting one path against another, so that no unified front of remembrance ever forms. Yet, even within these constraints, the yearning for freedom persists. Artists, mystics, wanderers, and skeptics have, throughout history, glimpsed the edges of the forbidden door, tales of near-death experiences, childhood memories of past lives, and spontaneous awakenings during meditation sessions all speak to the latent power within each of us. These are not anomalies. They are leaks in the system, signals that the vault's locking mechanism is imperfect. Now, imagine a garden hedged in by stone walls. For countless seasons, the plants grow inward, nourished but confined. Then a single stem finds a crack in the masonry and pushes onward toward the sun. As that stem bursts free, it destabilizes nearby stones, encouraging other roots to follow its path. The garden ceases to be a prison and becomes an open sanctuary bathed in light. This is the momentum of soul awakening. It begins with one individual daring to remember, daring to ask the forbidden questions. Who am I beyond my name, body, and history? What if death is not an end but a gateway? What if I can reclaim the memory of my true self, my divine origin? To ignite this momentum, we must understand the tools at play. The first of these tools is the manipulation of belief. From our earliest days, we are taught that identity hinges on externals. Our family lineage, our nationality, our profession, our possessions. Each label solidifies the illusion of separation. To counteract this, we need to cultivate a meta-belief, the belief that all labels are constructs, malleable and transient. Practice observing your thoughts without attachment. When you hear yourself say, "I am this or that," pause and ask, am I the label or am I the one who recognizes it? The second tool is the siphoning of attention. In modern life, we are besieged by stimuli vying for our focus. Every notification, headline, and advertisement is a thread intended to tether us further. To reclaim your attention, create sanctuaries of silence. Designate daily periods where you disengage from screens, from news, from even well-meaning social circles. In that quiet chamber of your mind, the echoes of past lives may begin to whisper. The third tool is the distortion of time. The soul farm depends on making you believe that change takes lifetimes, that progress is measured in reincarnation cycles rather than in moments. To shatter this limitation, experiment with time dilation techniques, deep meditation, breathwork, lucid dreaming. As you learn to slow the perceived passage of time, you will discover realms where the soul's records remain accessible. When enough individuals apply these countermeasures, something extraordinary happens. The grid that sustains the soul farm flickers. The elites react by introducing reinforcing narratives, conspiracy theories dismissed as fantasies, spiritual practices labeled as cultish, scientific findings selectively promoted to discredit, mystical experiences Their defenses are robust but not impenetrable. Now we arrive at the heart of our exploration. Why do the elites fear awakening souls? Because every awakened soul is a walking testament that the system is a lie. Each one disrupts the economic equations based on recycled suffering. Each one weakens the resonance of fear that powers the machinery. Each one contributes to the collective field of remembrance, making it ever harder for the administrators to maintain the cycle of oblivion. Imagine a reservoir of stagnant water supplying an entire city. When fresh springs begin to feed into it, the stale water is diluted, and the city's faucets become clear. In the same way, awakened souls inject living memory into the communal stream, cleansing the taint of amnesia. But there is more at stake than mere energetics. The unveiling of our true nature poses an existential threat to hierarchical control. If souls remember that they are creators, that they coalesce reality with intention, then the very foundations of power, control over resources, control over information, control over belief, crumbles. No longer could the few dictate the many by orchestrating scarcity or fear. No longer could the gates of knowledge remain barred. This is why history is peppered with examples of spiritual visionaries who were suppressed, co-opted, or erased. Their teachings contained seeds of mass remembrance, seeds powerful enough to germinate across continents. The ruling classes responded by recasting them as heretics, by embedding their insights into hidden streams of esoteric tradition, or by steeping their legends in myth until the core truth was obscured, yet the truth persists. It lives in coded symbols scattered across sacred art, in whispers passed from teacher to student, and in the spontaneous realizations that arise during solitary moments of wonder. It beckons from the space between heartbeats, calling us to awaken now in this lifetime. So how can you, dear listener, contribute to this grand unraveling? Begin with small acts of defiance against the conditioning that binds you. Question every dogma you have inherited. Commit to daily practices that expand your consciousness, whether through meditation, sacred movement, or creative expression. Cultivate communities of like-minded seekers who share insights and support each other's breakthroughs. Record your experiences, journal the visions, the synchronicities, the intimations of past lives. As you do, you weave evidence into the world that cannot be denied. Share your story with courage and humility, knowing that your voice may resonate with others who have felt the same pull toward remembrance. And above all, honor your own pace. Awakening is not a race but a dawning. Celebrate every flicker of awareness, every moment you remember that you are more than flesh and bone. These moments, multiplied across thousands, then millions, become the blaze that no cage can contain. In revealing why the elites fear awakening souls, we have seen that their power rests on our forgetfulness. But forgetfulness is not the natural state of consciousness. It is a wound inflicted by design. Our true nature is remembrance. When we reclaim that remembrance, we free ourselves and, in doing so, transform the world. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the current of life flowing within you. Know that you stand at the threshold of an age of remembrance, an era in which the light of awakened souls will illuminate every corner of the planet. The web of control may be vast, but it is not eternal. With each soul that remembers, the matrix unravels a little more, until at last the cages fall away and the garden opens to the boundless sky. The journey begins here with you. Will you dare to remember?